Greetings all. Well, Gracie's here today. Hey, Gracie, huh? Yeah, she's down here. Come on out and sit in the warm sun with me. Yeah, so what else is new? Yesterday, after I finished the video, I had two of my friends drop by here who are well connected in the local Pakalolo culture, that is the medical cannabis culture here. Yeah, and they come by and they're trying to get me to come on down. There's Pakalolo Fest down there. They're going to have a tasting in down by Pohoiki tomorrow. It's on the web if anybody's really interested. If you want to go, you will need to have a medical card. Okay, it's only for people who have Hawaiian medical cards. But yeah, they tried to get me to go over there because one of the guys, he's going to be a judge. Oh, man. Oh, and I said, well, they wanted me to do videos. They wanted me to go down and film this entire event and or video the event. I thought about it. There's some interest in it. I'll admit, I'm still quite old-fashioned because they used to throw you in jail and throw away the key for that crap. And so I'm a little cautious about all this. I checked on it, and, it turns out that it's on private property. It's only people with a good medical card allowed. Apparently the guys throwing the thing are well armed with teams of lawyers anyway. They have done these battles before. So the safety issue is cool. Now, whether I know I started talking about cannabis medically on the channel a while ago because I support the whole thing. I think it's a great idea. Okay, it's always been a wrong law. It's from my point of view. We never should have had laws against that herb. But yeah, I don't know if I want to start doing videos of cannabis tastings or not. But when I found out that my buddy there is going to have to show up at 1 o'clock and he's going to have to judge all the way to 8 o'clock, and I had considered taking a lift with him, I said, oh no. I'm not staying at a Pakalolo fair from 1 to 8. It ain't gonna happen. So I don't think this will come down. But it's interesting. Times are changing, man. I tell you, what a thing. Here in Hawaii, if you do have the medical cards, there's a lot of freedom. You can get into the seed business legally here, I guess, if you're doing that. You can't really get into selling the herb itself without other types of permits, but you can grow it and whatnot. There's quite a bit of freedom. Apparently, this is a legal thing that these guys are doing. So it's been happening in many other places. Of Hawaii, we've only had 1 or 2 of them so far. This is the beginning over here with all this stuff. So that's new. Otherwise, I kind of figured when I posted about the Bolt going out of business and about EVs, I'd get some negative feedback. I did. There's some guy out there claiming, the woods is full of Prius batteries. People don't know what to do with them. They cost $2,000 to recycle. They're throwing them all in the woods. Well, to begin with, that is not true. That is the cost to recycle. I checked with Toyota, and at the worst, it's about $200 if you got to pay to have them get rid of that battery for you. It's got a considerable amount of recyclable, valuable materials in it, so the battery has a value as far as that's concerned. So throwing them in the woods is not a real smart idea. But there are thousands of times more gas-powered vehicles that have been dumped in the woods around here than Prius batteries. Trust me, man. There are leaky, rusted gas vehicles all over this island. For years, we didn't really have any boneyards here, or anything like that. There were no auto recyclers. This stuff just got dumped. It's all over the island. So, if people are worried about Prius batteries, that's the least of my concerns. The leaking oil, antifreeze, brake fluid, and everything else coming out, all the corpses out there, is probably far more significant. it's generally fairly easy if you try to make an argument against something. Yeah, it is. That's the easy road. Making an argument to support something, that's more difficult. A lot of people like to take the easy way out and figure they're smart. So we got that going on. Yeah, so folks dropped by yesterday to convince me to go shoot videos, and, well, they asked about something in the nursery. So we wandered back in the nursery, and I picked up my 6 packs of sweet corn out of the flat, and I went, oh, man, I had roots this long. Kevin and I spent an hour or so out there in the garden planting sweet corn yesterday. Yep, got the sweet corn in. Yeah. I wasn't wanting to have to do it, but we did. It's in. So at this point, I'm heading along pretty well on my summer crops. And we have cabbages out there, broccoli, we got corn, we got string beans, I get tomatoes. I have some peppers from previous that overwinter, some several years old. But I have fresh ones in the nursery that are a little small right now, but they're going to go out too. I'll have some pepper crops this year. Yeah. Well, the last video I had mentioned about how it does appear that things are moving along in the town of Mountain View, and we may very well see some significant changes to the village coming up. It's looking that way. I can see change and development occurring right before my eyes. And I had one of the viewers that asked me, well, if you're going to set up a restaurant in Mountain View, what kind of restaurant would you set up? Well, it's everybody's got their own individual tastes in food, I'll tell you that. I figure in Mountain View that a good restaurant would probably see almost as many tourists as they see locals. We're halfway between the national park and Hilo, and so we're a pretty good place to stop, and pick up something to eat. I would say I know if there was a good restaurant in town, I'd be over there at least once a week because I get tired of cooking, I want somebody else to wait on me. But I don't know, my only thoughts on it, as far as that's concerned, anybody who wants my 2 cents, there are some real good restaurants up in Volcano, all right? And now one of the things we have in Volcano that I find is unique, and that is a really good vegan restaurant. Cafe Ono and Art Gallery up there. He's a vegan restaurant that is, you go vegetarian or vegan, depends, it's either way. They do it either way, but he knows how to season. Yeah, their food is very tasty. It doesn't matter whether you're a carnivore or what you are. It's hard not to like Ono's food. Now, that is unique because there are other vegan and vegetarian restaurants around the island here, and I've tried most of them, and my opinion is they don't know how to use salt, pepper, or garlic. Just because it's supposed to be vegan, healthy food, why do you leave the seasonings out? Yeah, stuff's bland and tasteless in general, not appealing. I mean, if you think it's good eating, hard, crunchy grains and things like this, all right, fine, you're enjoying yourself. But to me, food should have flavor. It should be savory. We should have a nice smell, and so on, no matter what it's made out of. Well, there's that one. We could use that, but this island, obviously, most of you even if you've never been here, can imagine we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We are surrounded by lots and lots and lots of fish, and we have lots of fishermen here, and we bring in fish constantly. I live more than half on fish here. It's a very major part of my diet. And the fish here is incredibly good. The ahi is, I've never had it so good anywhere, all right? It is great. The mahi-mahi, the ono, the marlin even, quite good, There's such, even the reef fishes, the aku, and so on. These are really wonderful. And, of course, here in Hawaii, most of us who are local, we like eating our fish raw. There's cooked fish too. I mean, we eat fish and chips and whatnot, but poke is one of the most popular fish dishes on this island, and that's raw ahi usually, but could be marlin, it could be alpaca, it could be a few other fish. And sushi is also quite popular here, and the sushi bars, a lot of them seem like they come and go. Some of the Japanese restaurants that are long-standing here and serve sushi, they seem to stay around, but we get a lot of places that set up that'll do like, lunch deal sushis and stuff like that, and they just all seem to disappear about as soon as I get attached to them. One Keiao I used to like to run down and grab one of their specials and have it for lunch. It's gone. Yeah, so we could use more raw fish around here for the locals. Maybe 30% of the tourists, I don't know, like raw fish too. Maybe. And other people are curious. I know when my brother and his wife first came here, they'd never eaten poke. Bob decided he liked it. Yeah, and so they found places to eat poke back in Illinois. Even when they always sending me something in the email. Oh, look, I found another Hawaiian food joint. So you can come here and get used to the cuisine. The local cuisine is what it is. We got chicken katsu, we got kalua pork. That's usually served with cabbage. There's always too much rice and too much mac salad. All right, that's ubiquitous. Just teriyaki chicken, and all that stuff is common local dishes. And obviously, if you have a restaurant around here, I think at least having a few of the most popular ones on that menu is a really, really good idea for everybody. Whether you live in here or whether you're visiting here, some people maybe have never had a local moco. You know what a local moco is, right? Yeah, I can hear them out there. There's about 10% of them or more going, I don't know what a local moco is. Yeah, that's a bowl of rice. This was invented by a guy who had a cafe in Hilo, and the high school football players, after practice, used to show up and hang out at his cafe. Well, the guys were always hungry and exhausted, and so he decided he would make a dish that would satisfy these young football players. And so he invented the local moco. And so the basic local is a bowl full of white rice, that's got a hamburger on top of it with brown gravy and a fried egg. That is a local moco. Now, you can have it with Spam, you can get it with mahi-mahi, you can get it with all kinds of stuff. There are many different forms of locals, but that's one of the local creations. So there's a lot of opportunity in that regard. I just love to see somebody set up any old place over here, but a place that had actually good vegan food, well seasoned, local fish, and our local beef. I don't know, a lot of folks don't know that Hawaii is a major beef producer. One of the largest cattle farms in the country is the Parker Ranch here. And we produce incredibly good beef. And so if you ever had a local steak or even a local cheeseburger, they are awesome. All righty. Hang loose. Aloha.